Hello and welcome to the Ferris Sports Update. I'm your host, Harrison Watt, standing in for Rob Bentley today. Today on the Ferris Sports Update, we'll talk to Ferris State men's and women's basketball, but first we're going to lead it off with Ferris State hockey and senior defenseman Zac Tierney. Zac, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Zac, obviously huge to get a road win against a nationally ranked opponent and one in the top 10 last weekend. How are the guys feeling after that one?
Yeah, like you mentioned, it's just huge to get back in the win column because if you look in the past couple months, we've had a couple really tough losses, including 2 overtime losses back to back at home against Bowling Green, added another overtime loss against Mankato, who's another nationally ranked team, and then also an overtime loss to Huntsville. It's nice to get. Sometimes Coach talks about you can play well and not win games. It's finally nice to play well and get rewarded for it.
He has talked about playing well and not winning games, but it seems like no matter what, it's not like you're going out there and scores are ugly for the most part. You're playing really compelling, close games with some of the best teams in the country. Has that given you guys a little bit more confidence knowing that, okay, we are a good team, we can stick with these guys?
Yeah, it's nice to know that we can go out there night after night and compete against these great teams. And because we've said it from the beginning of the year, we know we're a really good team and we know we have a ton of potential. Somewhere along the line it hasn't really worked out in a lot of games while we have a negative record. But definitely showing everybody even in our conference that we can beat a team like Bowling Green, shut them out on Saturday night, hold them to 2 power play goals on the weekend. It's definitely good for our confidence, but it's nothing different than what we expect. We know we're a good team, and hopefully down the stretch here, there's a lot of points on the line, and I think we'll be able to take quite a few of them.
Bowling Green, a tough place to play, and as we go back and take a look at the highlights, I know it was loud in there both games. They had some good crowds, and certainly a lot of fun as we look back first at Friday night's game, and it was a 2-0 loss, but certainly to me felt like defensively and in goal you guys had a solid game.
Yeah, like I mentioned, both the goals they did score were both power play goals. We talked a little bit. I think some of the penalties weren't necessarily, deserving. I know Clarkey, he took 3, and we didn't think that he deserved any one of them, and they just ended up scoring on the 2 of them. But keeping a team with as much offensive power as that save was incredible. I can't believe Kapellmaster did that. He played amazing. But keeping a team like Bowling Green to just 2 goals on the man advantage is pretty special, I think, because they do have a lot of firepower, and we were able to kind of keep them off the sheet 5-on-5.
They got a lot of grade A chances. Another one right there for Lucas Craggs, their leading goal scorer. But how much confidence did it give you guys knowing that Kapellmaster was having just one of those nights that he can have?
Yeah, he's amazing. I mean, you can tell when he's playing games. Sometimes you see him get in this groove where you just know everything's working for him, and he gets the confidence going, and then you can see in the highlights here, he makes some absolutely unorthodox saves. Like he's just flopping around and somehow keeps the puck out of the net, and it's just incredible. Like this one here, obviously was a really nice goal by them, but you mentioned before they have to do something like that to finally get on the scoreboard. So, that speaks wonders to how he played this weekend.
Now, it didn't feel like in that Friday night game you guys got a ton of chances, but it felt like you did generate just enough to be in the ball game. So what do you think about the way you guys played in that Friday night game in comparison to maybe offensively at least Saturday?
I think we played very well on Friday night. They had a goalie that was hot, and he played very well both games, I think. We did have a lot of offensive chances, and unfortunately they just weren't going into the back of the net. We didn't capitalize on our power plays that we had, but we made some changes, and that's why I think the power play looked so good on Saturday. But their goalie played great, and they're a good team. So it's one of those things where, although we did play well, it just kind of didn't go our way, and we knew that, and then that's why I think we came out Saturday and played so well, and thankfully we won that game.
Move on to Saturday here, and it was a 3-0 win. You get a big shutout win over Bowling Green as we take a look at these highlights. Kapellmaster again puts on a show. While he might have been better on Friday, it seemed like Bowling Green had more grade A chances on Saturday to open the game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, again, talking on Justin Kapellmaster there, he played great, and it kind of changes the mindset of the team. When you have a goalie that is going to play great night after night, like we knew Cappy was going to come in Saturday and just play, a heck of a game, and that's exactly what he did. And I also think we were a little bit better defensively that game, which obviously helped him out, and then our offense started working, so it just kind of worked from the top down, and we were all on the same page, and that's why we came away with the 3 points there.
To take a look here, first goal going to be coming up, and this is a play. Craig Peffley made an unbelievable steal right there.
Right. Yeah, Craig's always been good at that. You know, the whole stick jack thing. Even in practice, he's great at it. And you know, he's a really hard-working guy with a ton of offensive ability. And I think, you know, sometimes he shows it better than others. But this game on Saturday, that whole line, you know, Jason Tackett, Corey Mackin, and Craig Peffley played outstanding, and that's why they were rewarded for it.
And it seemed like as the game went on, you guys got more and more chances. And it felt like for the most part, you guys were maybe more even in terms of creating offensive chances. Here's a breakaway for Corey Mackin, but really you get everything seems to go right here in the second period. Mm-hmm. You don't give up a goal on their grade A's, and you're able to stay ahead on the board going into the third.
Yeah, and this is an amazing goal by Riker. It's nice to have him back. His offensive ability shows there, but you know, sometimes I feel like we've been in games where we've been playing well and we aren't getting the bounces and things just kind of aren't going our way, and it's finally nice, like I said, to get rewarded. You know, we're playing well, and sometimes, you know, you need the other team to catch a bad bounce for you to come out on top. And, you know, like I said, Saturday just kind of everything worked out for us. Here's another really good chance by Craig Peffley that, you know, we were all standing up on the bench ready to celebrate because we thought that was going in. And then Hunter went with a good effort there. Thankfully, both those players are okay. But yeah, I think Saturday was a great team game in general.
As you take a look forward here now, Lake Superior State's a tough opponent. They're number 20 team in the nation, and obviously good to come off a nationally ranked win against the top 10 opponent. Lake State's interesting in that they're a team that not a lot of the personnel has changed. They do have one good freshman defenseman who's putting up good numbers, but what's the difference for them? Because they haven't had a lot of changeover roster-wise.
Yeah, we've actually talked about that too. You know, it's almost like they came out of the blue, and now this year they're just such a good team. I know they have a lot of good players up front with, I know, Anthony Allison, Diego Caglietta. They're both pretty offensive threat and pretty big offensive threat. And you know, we always play pretty well against Lake State. I'm not sure if it's because they're somewhat of our conference rival, but we know they're a good team. We know what to expect. And this week we're just working on things that we'll be able to utilize against them. And I think it's going to be a really fun weekend and, you know, going to guarantee 2 good hockey games.
Obviously back in the blue line this year, you've gotten a lot of offensive production out of Nate Callan and Cooper Zac. You had Riker Killens out for a big chunk of the season, and we looked at his highlight that ended up in the Jake Transit goal there, but what does he mean to your lineup in terms of cementing that second pairing and be able to run that second power play unit?
Yeah, it's nice to have Riker back. You know, he's a great player, and I think the best thing he brings is his skating. He's a tremendous skater, and that's why, you know, he can kind of blow people away when he grabs that puck behind the net and just kind of takes off. And also, he's one of our assistant captains, and he's a good leader at that. And you know, we're all glad to have him back. And then, obviously, Nate Callan and Cooper Zac, they both had great years. They're both great players and great teammates. So, you know, it's just nice. You know, we finally feel like we have what we want coming down the stretch here with the last few weekends. And you know, it's definitely nice to have Reichs back. But I think as a D-core leading, you know, best offense is a good defense, and I think having those guys back and playing well is going to help us out a lot. And, you know, we kind of proved that on Saturday night.